Hey guys, so there's a lot of questions about how to set up a shiny den and host it on the internet for other people to catch Pokemon from. So today I'm going to try to walk through some of the things that I use in order to set up a den, hopefully answer some of those questions that you might have. First thing I want to talk about is a few websites that are very, very important. The first one is here at pokedens.github.io. It's a wonderful site that if you just need to find that one Pokemon you're looking for and what den it exists in, this is the site I go to whenever I'm going to set up a den. So let's say I'm looking for a Jellicent den. What I would do is come in here and I can go out and find Jellicent in my list, and it'll immediately show me those 4 locations, those red dots there. That tells me it's a red beam, and those 4 locations. Those are the ones that have Jellicent dens. Now you can further say, if this is only on Sword or only on Shield, if you want Gmax, if you're looking for gender, etc. Things like that, only looking for certain stars. Today we're trying to set up den number 16, which is this one right here. And when you click on the dot, it'll actually show you den 6, the 2 dens that are available, the red beam den and the purple beam den. So you can very quickly see there's the Jellicent that I'm looking for, but you can also see all the other Pokemon that are available in this den, both from 2 stars all the way up to the 5 stars. Great source for being able to locate that particular den you want to set up. Once you've identified that den, you can look up additional details over here on Cerebi.net. Another great utility. Put that link up here for you. Cerebi.net, the max raid dens, again has that same type of information where you can go in and you can look at the dens, the pool of available Pokemon, and then if you need to look up one in specifically, you can just click on the den number, and here's where it will pop up. I'm bringing up 16 for example. It'll pop up and bring you all of the Pokemon information that can be found in that den. Whether or not hidden ability can be found will be shown here where it says hidden possible. It means you can get a hidden ability den on it. If it just says standard, it means you cannot get hidden ability on that Pokemon from any den. It is not possible. Shows you drop percentages. The important thing to keep in mind here is when it gives you those percentages, this is the chance that that Pokemon can appear. So it says 4-star 50%. That means half of the time you get a 4-star, it will be a Dugtrio. That does not mean half the time the den is rolled up, it's going to be Dugtrio, only on the 4 stars. So you actually have to divide that by 3. So 50% divided by 3 will give your actual percent roll-up chance, because there's an equal chance of a 3-star appearing, a 4-star appearing, or a 5-star appearing if you're doing a max den. So that is your information as far as what Cerebi.net has. There's one other thing I want to point you to before I get into the actual setup of a den, and that is this third tab that I have set up here. This is a utility that I recommend you go download. It is from github.com/admiral-fish raidfinder-releases. Raidfinder is a program that I'm going to be calling on later that allows us to take our seed information that we're going to get off of a bot and go ahead and look up more details about that den. Exactly all the abilities, stats, if not just the next frame, but really as many frames out as we want to go. So get this Raid Finder, highly recommend it. It's available for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. All 3 of those platforms. You can just download the zip file, install it, and get going on that. And it does allow you to download event data and look up event information as well. So that is what I wanted to get you with going first, get you that information out to you. But let's go ahead and talk about setting up the den itself. So let me go ahead and turn off that. We're going to go back to our game. And the first thing I want to show you guys is you see that purple beam in the background. This is a misconception. There are a lot of places that will talk about the fact that you cannot have a purple beam on the field if you want a purple beam from your wishing pieces. This is incorrect information. You absolutely can get a purple beam from a wishing piece, even if there's a purple beam in the field. You do not need to clear it out first. That is why I'm showing you, hey, there's a purple beam in the field. That is not a wishing piece. That is a naturally occurring purple beam. So I'm going to head back to my den. I wanted to set up den number 6. So that is over here by the ruined tower. And I'm going to go ahead and get my bike over there, and I'm going to go ahead and do several wishing pieces because I want you guys to see that, in fact, I can get a purple beam. It might take me a few tries. We're going to come in here, and I'm going to show you the trick, because sometimes you want the red beams, and sometimes you want the purple beams when you are setting up a den, depending on what den number you're setting up. So the first thing you want to do, if you need to get to your den, but if you want a purple beam, you want to make sure and come down to options, set your text speed to slow. This is critical. Go ahead and save it. And then save your game, because you want to save your game in front of that den there. That way you don't have to drive back to it again if you do not get the purple beam. So what I'm going to do is, because I have an empty den here, and this is the den I want to set up, I need to throw in a wishing piece. So it doesn't seem to be anything in the den. Do you want to throw in a wishing piece? Yes. Next question you're going to get asked is if you want to save it. Now this is the important part. Have your controller ready. Have that home button ready, because we're going to need to cancel out as soon as we see that color of the beam. So we're going to hit yes, and as soon as I see either red or purple, I'm going to hit the home button. It's red. Now I did not give it a chance to save. That is the key point, and that is why you slow down that text. Now I can bring back up my game. I never actually used my wishing piece because it didn't get a chance to save the game. If you do it quick enough. If it goes all the way and it dings and it says saving, it's too late. You've lost the wishing piece. Do not try to close the game at that point. Let it finish saving. Throw in another wishing piece. Because I jumped out early enough, we're going to be able to do this a few times until we get that purple beam. And you can just kind of pay attention here on the screen for a moment. Another red. Again, I can close it. Open it back up here. And you guys are going to see, even though I have a purple beam in the field, I will be able to get a purple beam on the stream from the wishing piece. All dens that you want to set up as shiny dens must be done via wishing pieces. And there is a reason for that. And that reason is normal beams disappear between days. Wishing piece beams do not. And that is the key to setting up a successful den. Sometimes this takes a little bit to get a purple beam. So please bear with me, and I may speed up this section. Okay, so we're back. As you just saw, I now have a purple beam. I'm going to go ahead and go back in because I saw the color purple. So now I want it to go ahead and save. So I'm going to go ahead and go back in, let it save the progress. You guys see I have a purple beam now. Now this isn't actually the beam I want for the den I'm looking up right now, but I'm doing this for an example. So I'm going to go ahead and set my text speed back to fast, which is what I prefer. And I'm going to go ahead and save my game again on that fast text speed. I have that purple beam. Now, just to verify again, guys, what I was talking about, that purple beam there is my wishing piece beam. And if you guys remember from the start of the video, I had a purple beam across the field over in the area outside of the desert biome area over there. So let me go ahead and go back over here, and you guys can see that in fact there are now two purple beams in the field at one time. You can see it right there in the background, that swirling purple vortex. Yes, oh, the weather's going to change on me. There you go. Give it back over here where you can see it. That is a purple beam, not a red beam. And I also have a purple beam over here. Yes, that's two purple beams at a time in the field. One there, one there. It is possible to have two purple beams in the field, one by wishing piece, one by natural means. So those websites that tell you otherwise are false. All right, let's go ahead and head back over here. So once we have our den set, once we got our wishing piece in that we want to catch the Pokemon. And this is important that we do not save after we catch the Pokemon. And we're going to go through that here in a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a moment while I get a red beam back. All right, guys, welcome back. We are just about to start the next part of this video, which is how to find your seed information. Now, I just put in a red beam. This is the same den, but I needed a red beam because I'm looking for den number 6, which is a red beam den. As such, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to catch the first Pokemon I see. It really doesn't matter who it is. All we're interested in doing is capturing the Pokemon so we can show it to a bot. Now, there's a few different bots out there. There's Doodoo bot, there's Lantern bot, there's a Seed Checker bot. Your goal is to find one of them that will work for you. So the first thing we have to do is we have to catch this Pokemon. So bear with me for just a moment as I go ahead and beat up on this Haunter. You guys will go ahead and watch the whole video. I'm just going to go ahead and Psychic Fang him. Oh, good old Eevee with the helping hands. So useful. Thank you, Eevee. This is only a 4-star, so my Zacian pretty much can solo any den that's out there at this point. And I'm not going to speed this part up. You guys can go ahead and enjoy it for a moment. Take a break as you're downloading some of those apps, getting out to some of those websites that I gave you. And getting ready for this next part. You might be catching the Pokemon yourself if you're walking through the tutorial with me. And I don't want you to have to pause and get to that next spot. So we're going to have some fun here. So there's a few different websites, a few different Discords. The one that's most popular is Doodoo bot for websites. Doodoo bot, let me double check on that URL for you guys. Should put that up first, but I didn't. Doodoo bot is a place called Seed Check. I'm going to go ahead and throw that up here on screen for real briefly. This is Seed Check right here. This is the Doodoo bot. It is at 116.202.105.91. And it allows you to trade on code 9162 for a chance to talk to one of their 3 bots potentially in order to get that seed information. This is what is most important. If you can get to the Doodoo bot and trade, it will give you your seed. It'll give you your in-character name, what Pokemon you traded, and that seed. And you'll want to copy and paste that into that Raid Finder application. And I'll show you more about that here in a moment. In the first time, though, we need to capture our Haunter. So I'm just going to throw a ball at it, make sure it stays in the ball, as happened where it doesn't. And we need to trade to one of the many options out there. Now, for my purposes, I like to trade with Lantern or Seed Checker bots. There's a lot of Discord sites that let you do that, and we're going to use one of them here in just a moment. All right, so we have captured our hunter. Now we need to find out, is it a good seed or is it a bad seed? Only time will tell. All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to capture that. We're going to make sure it's in a spot that I can access it quickly. So let me go in my Pokemon here. And I want to make sure that hunter is somewhere that I can find it quick and easy. There it is right there. And I'm going to put it in the top row of that box because there's nothing else around it. Make sure you do not save at any point. This is important. Go online. And we're going to be ready to trade. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Discord. And here is a link to one of the Discord sites that I use, Lantern and Shiny Raid Discord. This is a free Discord run by Smokey. There are several such Discord sites out there. This is just one of them that I use. And the reason I use it, it actually has two bots up here, Smokey's bot and Beowulf's bot. We're going to go Smokey's bot today, and I want to do a seed check. So I'm going to do $seed check. And it is going to whisper me, I'm going to go by my whispers here, a trade code. In this particular case, it's trading me at 3525. So I'm going to go ahead and punch that in to my switch. Turn that off there so you can see what I'm doing. 3525, punching that into my trade. And now I'm going to go try to trade with Smokey's Lantern bot. The thing is Lantern for the in-game name, so I know if I'm trading. And there's Lantern. And I'll try to trade that hunter to it. Now what it's going to do is it's going to actually cancel the trade and kick me out. But that's fine. That is actually what we wanted to do, because if it traded, it would save the game, which would defeat the whole purpose. So we're going to bring back up our Discord here. And you're going to see it found us, it traded, and it's going to say seed results. It's going to give us our seed information right there, guys. Now I can see that the first shiny frame is actually at 3,801. That is not a very good random number. But we just want to see more information. We can bring up our raid finder, and we can copy and paste that seed right here. And we can tell it how many frames. I usually do about 5,000 or 10,000. And over here on the right, you can set the shiny type to star or square. It means you want a shiny frame. Show me where the shiny frames are. And then go ahead and hit generate. And I can see I actually have shiny frames at 3802, 3872, and 6703 in the first 10,000 frames. Not only that, this program will actually tell you the stats of the Pokemon, the type of shiny, their nature, their ability, and their gender, and their characteristics. All that stuff is right here for you to see. So I actually am 3,802 frames away from a hidden ability star frame. But that is for an event den. So what I want to do is I actually want to change this to a different den. And you can come in here and make sure you have the right one. I am currently at, if I can find it here real quick, I'm at the ruins. Of course, I'm not finding it quickly. Rolling Fields, Dapple Grove, Watchtower Ruins. I'm at the Watchtower Ruins on this one. I have at Watchtower Ruins number 2. Sometimes you have to check. There we go. Watchtower Ruins number 2. You can see the list of Pokemon. So if I wanted to make sure that, say, I had a hidden ability Jellicent, I could actually select Jellicent here, and re-click that, generate, and see that at 3802, yes, it is a hidden ability Jellicent. Now I'm probably going to go ahead and keep this seed, even though I really was not, at first thought it was not going to be a good seed, but 3802 is doable. And what I do next is I take that 3802. That is my key number. 3802. And I'm going to bring back up a web page here. I got my right one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google. And I'm going to say 3,798 because 3802 minus 4 is 3,798 days from today. This is going to be my target date. In this case, October 21st, 2030. October 21st, 2030. That is what I need to date skip to in order to successfully set up this den, if I set my date to today. So let me go back to my game here. I'm going to close that out so you guys can see my game again. Now I have the den. There's no beam. I remember I need to close the game. When I close this game and I'm going to start a roll-up process to get to that next den, I like to make sure my date is set to today. Again, I'm trying to get from 3,798 days from today, so I need to make sure it's at today. All right, so we're going to open up our game. Two things that can mess you up when you're doing date skipping is a wild Pokemon encountering you, or the game crashing because it's changing weather so often. So what I like to do when I'm doing a very long skip is not be in the field. Not be in the field. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So here's my beam. I'm ready to set it up. I'm going to go ahead and go back to town. I could warp there, but since I am doing a demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and bike my way there just to get back into town. And if you guys do need more wishing pieces, these are the guys in the white that have those wishing pieces for 3,000 apiece. That is what you need in order to be able to set up shiny dens. All right, we're going to go back into town. Once I am in town, I need to activate the date skip glitch. This is a glitch that is caused by being on the Wycom. So we're going to go into Wycom, turn on connect to internet. And we're going to do a link battle. Now, the important thing is here, I cannot show you what I'm going to do next on screen the normal way. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to bring it back up here in a little bit and talk through the rest of it as I do the date skipping. All right, welcome back. So now that we have our target date, and we have our system set to that original date, we need to activate that date skip glitch. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to that link battle, and we're going to initiate a link battle. It doesn't matter which one you pick here. I usually pick single mode, but you want to start some type of link battle while you're connected to the internet. Then immediately hit the home button and go to the airplane mode. As soon as we make that connection with the user, there we go, you're going to hit that airplane, turn it on, and turn it back off again. That is going to interrupt that single battle and activate the date skip glitch. Now that that's activated, we're allowed to come down to that date and time, and we can advance one day forward at a time and constantly be changing the date in the game because the game is not quite closed. It's kind of half active. So now we can go to that day field, and with our fingers, we can actually advance this fastest by putting our fingers roughly where I have them there. And you can see I can go through one day at a time very quickly. And you remember when you hit that first of the month, go to the next month. And as you can see, you can actually do this very quickly with just 3 quick clicks of the button each time I'm advancing a day as we move forward here. I'm actually going to go all the way to the first of the next year to show you that. So because you see, sometimes I'll miss a day and I'm like, oops, I misclicked. Just go back in and do it again. Most important thing is do not try to accidentally skip extra days, and make sure you go activate the month forward when you hit that first of the month. If you accidentally goof this up at any point, you actually skip extra days, you skipped back a day because you went to the first of the month and you actually didn't change the month. Best thing to do is just save at some point early and recheck that seed again and do the same trick where you go out and find how many days -4 until you get to that shiny frame. So we're going to go through the days here. As you can see, sometimes you can get into a rhythm and it goes much faster. Other times you kind of struggle with getting those right. I've got it down to where I can do about a year in about 5 minutes. So about a year's worth of skipping in about 5 minutes. So this should take me about 2 or 3 minutes to get through all of the rest of this year. One thing I do recommend is if you're doing a multi-year skip, like right now I'm doing a 10-year skip. If you're doing a multi-year skip, save on the January 1st of the next year. And you may ask yourself, why should you do that? The reason is if something were to happen to the game and the game glitches, or you were doing it out in the wild and a wild Pokemon encountered you, do you want to go back 9 years of date skipping, or do you just want to go back to the previous January 1st? It does not hurt you other than taking an extra couple minutes of time to save that game on the January 1st. As you'll see here in a moment, I'll be able to go right back to date skipping after I save. Now, for purposes of time, I'm only showing you date skipping up until this first year. I'll do the other 9 years off stream here, and then we'll come back and restart the video thereafter. As you see, I'm already up into November. Sometimes you misclick. You have to re-enter that a couple of times. But this is kind of the pattern you get into. That's 3 spots. You click the day forward, you click OK, you click on select date again, and you just go back and forth through that process 3 times per day. So if you're doing 10 years, you know, you're doing it, what, 9,000 times? Something like that. All right, so we're coming up on the first of the year now. Whenever I get near the end of a month, I actually try to slow down on purpose just to make sure I don't mess things up. There it goes, switch over to the new year, and I'm going to go ahead and hit B and back out to the menu, go to my game. I'm going to go ahead and save it. If you notice quickly, the weather, the sunlight, and everything changed briefly. That's just another indication that those date skippings have been occurring. Now that I've saved, I can go right back without reactivating the dates glitch because it is still open. It is still active. I can go right back to my date and time, and I can start continuing my advancement right from where I left off, knowing that I have that January 1st, 2021 as something I can go back to should something happen. All right, and we are back. Just finished date skipping to October 21st, 2030, which, as you can see here, if I put my screen again, from that date we Googled, that is the date that we wanted to skip to. Now, some people ask, is that the accurate date? Because what if the bot tells me something different? Let me go back to that bot again right here. And you saw that I grabbed that seed, and it said I needed 3,801 to the next shiny frame. And I subtract 4 from that, and I get 3,797. But I did 3,798. Why? Some bots will give you 3, some bots will give you to the shiny frame, some will give you to the shiny day. And that is a different thing. So that's why I always use my raid finder. And you'll notice when I punched it in with that same, it gave me 3,802 instead of 3,801. This is the number that you want to subtract 4 from, 3,802. If you use this specific bot, some bots will do it this style. That's when you want to subtract 3 from it to get the number that you want to get to in order to punch in so many days from today to get that date that you're looking for. Once we've set that date, we should now be at the spot where our shiny frame is in the 4th frame, or 3 days away. That's where your 3 and the 4 kind of difference comes from. So I want to make sure at this point that I save my game. And actually, I probably should have waited because usually I want to be in front of the den when I save. So let's head out to the den, guys. The den should now be fully set up and ready to go. So let me go ahead and put that back up here on screen. I'm going to head out to that den. And again, we're setting up den number 6, that ghost den. Got a little borked on Wednesday, so we're resetting it up for Saturday. But it gives me a good time to do this example tutorial for you guys. All right, now that I'm out here in front of the den, this is where I actually want to save it because I'm going to be hosting out of this den, and I want to not have to run out to it every time I reset the game. So I'm going to save at this point. All right, So now we need to go through the standard roll process to make sure that we have the den that we want. Now, usually what I do, because I have the date skip activated right now, and I really don't want to make sure it's not activated, not messing with things, is I go ahead and close the game. Now, at this point, it doesn't matter what date I open the game with. So I'm actually going to go back to today, because really 10 days from now, or 10 years from now, is quite a bit. So we're going to go back to today. The game doesn't care what date it is when I open the game. It only cares about what I do with the date after I open the game. All right, so let's go ahead and bring our game up. It's going to be right there in front of the den where we left it. And we're going to do what's called the standard roll-up method to verify our den. The way the roll-up method works is frame 1, frame 2, and frame 3 are always static. They're always the exact same Pokemon, no matter how many times you load the game. It's only that 4th frame that becomes random, something different every time you roll from the den. So frame 1 occurs on today. So we're going to open up the den, and it's a Drifblim. This will always be Drifblim on day 1 or frame 1. Once we've done that invite, like I did there, where I invited offline, and it's currently searching for players, I don't want to quit. What I want to do is actually hit my home button. I'm going to come out and change the date 1 day forward. Because the den is currently actively looking for people, it's going to register as if 24 hours had passed. I quit out of the den, and I end up on 1 day forward or the 2nd frame, which is a Haunter. Again, we're trying to get to that 4th frame. That is where we want the shiny to be. So again, we're going to invite offline. We're going to go down, change that date 1 forward. Come back into our den, quit. And now we're going to be on frame 3, which is the last of the static frames. It's a Trevenant. Again, we're going to invite people. Offline is best so you don't get raids up there that nobody can join. And move that 1 day forward. With that 3rd raid. And the 4th raid we bring up is our shiny. In this case, we have a Drifblim again. It will be random every time you do this. What I can do now is I want to test to make sure the den is set up properly. So I'm just going to hit don't invite others. And I just want to see, is this shiny? Is this shiny or is it not? If it's shiny, I've set up the den properly and I'm good to go. And it is yellow. It is a shiny. That is exactly what we wanted. So our den is successfully set up, ready for hosting. So we're going to go ahead and close. And now I'm going to reopen. Now there's a few caveats, and we're going to go through the roll processes, some things you need to know as you move forward about den hosting. Now that we've set up a den, now we need to know about den hosting. That's what we're going to cover in the next little bit here, the next few minutes. As I said, we're going to do that roll process again. You're going to see me do that several times. Through the course of a night when I'm hosting a den, I will be rolling the den many, many times. So you see me hosting. Again, it's going to be those same 3 frames, Drifblim, Haunter, Trevenant, because those are fixed. And that is why we can't set up that shiny in one of the first 3 frames. It has to be that 4th frame. Going backwards on your date will not move you forward a frame. It will actually keep the same frame. I'm going to show that to you too. So we're on frame 2. Watch what happens when I set the date backwards. Even though I've changed the date, I'm not going forward with it. It's still not going to work. So let me go back. If I had set May 1st instead of June 1st that last time, and I quit out of this raid, instead of moving to Trevenant, it's going to stay at Haunter. So I have to move forward with my date. Now, because I'm now at May 1st, if I went to May 2nd, that is a day forward from the previous one. And when I quit, it is going to bring up Trevenant. There's Trevenant. Okay, one more frame going forward on the dates. One more date going forward on the dates here. And now we'll get to that shiny frame. And now I'm going to do an online host. Because a lot of times people want to know, how do you stay with the same Pokemon multiple times in a row. And the whole trick has to do with the amount of online hosting and putting your system to sleep. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to host whatever this Pokemon is. It's a Gourgeist. So I'm just going to randomly invite. I just want somebody to join the raid here because I do need somebody in the raid or it's going to kind of get me stuck in it. So we're just going to throw this up on the internet. Someone lucky is going to join right now. I don't know who that is. We're going to get them involved right now. All right, as soon as I get some people in here, I just need at least one person. Hopefully someone on my friends list will see it up and wondering, what am I doing with a Gourgeist? It is a hidden ability one. Hopefully someone notices. We'll leave this up here for just a moment till we get a participant. There we go, Zigor. Thanks, Zigzor. Let's get you started here. So once I have someone else that's joined the raid is going to continue for them even though I am going to personally cancel out. And the way I cancel out is to hold down that home button, and as soon as I see the animation of my person standing up, I can hit sleep. Once I hit sleep, it causes that network adapter in the switch to turn off. And that is the key point, guys. You need that network adapter to turn off so it breaks that internet connection. And then when you turn the switch back on, look what it says. Communication with the server was interrupted. Because that happened, the raid will continue for everybody else. They didn't get interrupted. But what happens for the host is as soon as I throw my Pokemon out, I get kicked back out of the raid. You'll see that here in just a second. And there it goes. Now what does that do? It kicks me right back at the raid. And what is it? It is still that Gourgeist. We can host that Gourgeist as many times as we want, as long as we sleep the system and get kicked out of the raid. However, sometimes we want to get a different Pokemon, right? Same concept. When you start the raid, as soon as you see your character animation, you're going to hit that home button and you're actually going to close the game. What that does, it sets you back to that starting reset point where you need to go through that roll process again. Now, caveats. Caveats to this. Trading. You never want to catch a Pokemon. You never want to save the game, as long as you want to host this den. If you catch a Pokemon, the den will close. If you trade, it will save your game. So always make sure if you're going to trade, you do it as soon as you load the game before you touch the den at all. This is the point right now. I just loaded the game. Now I could come in here, turn on my Wi-Fi, turn on my link trade, make a trade. It would save. It's not going to interfere my game. I can save right now and show you guys it doesn't have any effect because I have not touched my den yet. Now, as soon as I touch my den, I'm going to start activating those day skips. So once again, I'm going to go through that roll process where I very quickly move through the dates and times and moving forward through the days, setting those frames. We're on frame 1, moving to frame 2. Here we go. Frame 2 is right there. Now we're going up to frame number 3 in just a moment, which is that Trevenant, guys. As long as I don't save, I can keep hosting indefinitely. And in fact, if you line up an event den, the event den will naturally change from one event to the next event just by going online. You don't even have to get rid of and set up a new event den if you do set up an event den like I'm doing. All right, so we got the Trevenant here. The next frame is our shiny frame, and in this case, it is another Gourgeist. But just to show you guys here, again, always, no matter what it is a shiny frame. And I'm going to go ahead and host this just to myself at the moment to once again show you, hey, look, it's a shiny Gourgeist with the purple and the black, and it's going to sparkle for me. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And guys, that is how to set up a den and host out of that den. And I hope it brings you guys success in doing it yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you on channel on the twitch.tv/Blarwick.